Hello, and welcome back to the Spiritually Awakened Man channel. I'm Mike Jacobs, and the video today is going to be all around the topic of spiritual ascension. I'm sure you've run into that topic before, but maybe you haven't gone below the surface with it. When you're in a spiritual awakening, that topic is going to come along a lot because the two are intertwined. So let's get into the video here. Before I do that, I just wanted to mention that this channel is designed to help men and women to understand and get the most out of their spiritual awakening journey. So if you can make any comments, about the video, about other videos you'd like to see, or on topics that you would like me to present to you, so you don't have to go searching all over for the information. I'm happy to do it. I really enjoy doing these videos, and this is one of the ways that I'm giving back and being of service to others. So I hope you enjoy the content today. The word, ascending, ascension connotates some sort of a rising in elevation, and I would call that true. I really think of ascension as a milestone for a spiritual awakening, with the ultimate ascension being referred to as having ascended. We are all on this pathway. Once we admit to ourselves we're actually in a spiritual awakening and we want to work on it, to start working through the things that are associated with it. And so I want to go through some of the reasons we're ascending and some of the objects of this activity. All right. So what is it? Essentially, I like to think of it as, the way it's referred to in some of the writings I've read, is a return to oneness. As we've discussed in other videos, this construct that we're in right now has to do with this concept of duality. This is where our higher self is really functioning in a higher dimension, but part of that soul and self has come down to earth with a mission, something we have to learn, something we want to learn. We have maybe come back several times as we learn more things, or we don't accomplish the learning that we intended and we have a do-over. So essentially we're operating separately from our higher self. And that's where the duality comes in. And ascendance, or ascending, is working our way back to a oneness with our higher consciousness. That's the way I think about it. And it eliminates the duality eventually. It implies elevation. Some people refer to vibrational frequency a lot, which I do. We're raising our vibrational frequency to raise or ascend. That's one of the key indicator that we're doing some things right, and we're actually changing our bodies and our minds such that we start to move up the ladder, so to speak, toward a higher level of consciousness. It's about vibration. So we're living in a very low vibrational world right now, but it's a high density. We want to move toward a lower density environment, but a much higher vibrational frequency, if that makes any sense. Anyway, one of the things that happens is it's not just our consciousness, it's also our physical form. In order for us to become lighter, it's termed as of the light. That can mean two things, and it does refer to two things. One is of the light in the sense that it's a brightness sort of a definition and connotation. That is, being a light being is of the light as opposed to being of the dark. And it also refers to light as in heavy versus light. When we're down in a heavy dimension, in a heavy environment, we're heavier. As you work through a spiritual ascendance, your body becomes lighter and we move to a light body. We have a change that goes on in our system. And it's been going on for quite a while, and it's accelerating rapidly. In order for us to ascend to the level we want to ascend, which is essentially going from what's referred to as the third dimension to the fifth. The reason they sort of talk about the fourth as much is the fourth isn't someplace you stay. It's not an end goal. It's a transition zone. So a lot of us are moving from third into the fourth zone a little bit. And then as we work on our ascension, we position ourselves to be ready for a jump to the fifth dimension. But we do become lighter. What's happening right now is we're being bombarded by vibrational frequencies and light frequencies from the sun that's getting bombarded by another sun, the central sun. It only happens apparently every 25 or 26,000 years, my understanding. So it's a unique time, but we're getting bombarded. We have been for a while, and it's accelerating. And what that does is it's starting to change the molecular structure of our bodies. It's changing the heavy density toward a more light density. And the way it does that is we're carbon-based bodies now, and we are changing more toward, or we're transmuting is the correct term for changing from a biological chemical sense to a crystalline-based bodies. And this is a process that's going on constantly as we get bombarded. We get bombarded, we feel tired, worn out, maybe a little on edge. Maybe we have headaches, maybe our muscles are sore where normally we haven't had a history of them being sore like that. Lots of what they call ascension symptoms. And that's what this is all about. We need to go from 3D to 5D. We need to position our bodies into a light body form to be able to make the transition, as well as our minds. We can't function in the higher levels at that higher frequency level unless we're optimized, unless we're conditioned for it. So that's what a lot of this is, really. Never in the history of the universe, what I'm told, has this occurred where an entire civilization is prepping and working toward, in unison, a mass level ascendance. And we are doing that. Never in the history of the universe, I'm told, has a civilization that was originally at a much higher vibrational frequency level and fell backwards and down into a deeply retarded low frequency world of the third dimension. Okay, that's never happened before, apparently. And it's never happened where a civilization on a planet has been able to pull themselves out of that. So we're doing something that's rather unique. There's a lot of people paying attention to what we're doing. We have a lot of help to prepare us for this. And it's an amazing thing. We are here on a mission to do that. And as light workers, as star seeds, as light warriors, we are sent here, sent back on a mission to do these things that we agreed to do before we came back. And it all has to do with helping the collective of the world ascend out of this third dimension, get the heck out of there, where life is better and life is as it's supposed to be, not a drudgery and not a difficult place to live in. This is a difficult place to live in by the standards of other civilizations in other planets. And we're all held in very high reverence for having gone through this process. We are highly respected and will be once we're completed with this ascension process. So it's funny, somebody wrote down if someone asked them what they did as a light worker or a starseed, they said they would like to have a business card that read as follows, and I'm reading this, so that's why I'm looking down. The business card would say, renegade member of the family of light, system buster, available for altering systems of consciousness within the free will universe, on call. So that's an example of how you would describe the mission we're on. Anyway, that's a little bit down that path as to why we're doing this and what has created this opportunity for us to go through this. The object of the game is to raise our vibrational frequency. And there's a number of different ways we can do it. A friend of mine, she went through and she recorded all the different things she started to work on to move her vibrational frequency up by 100 points from 250 or something like that up to 3 to 350. And these are the things that she worked on personally. So I thought this was a real list from someone I know who's accomplished this goal. And getting into the 300s is a nice number. You have to be above 200. We won't survive a higher vibrational frequency dimension at anything below 200. So 200 is the first goal to get past and then continue working on these things. So here's a list. Clear past traumas and triggers. These are things that are in your background from either this lifetime or previous lifetimes, or it could even be tremendous traumas from your family tree. Someone in your family tree above you has been carrying a tremendous trauma along and passing it along. They don't do it on purpose. It's just the way it works. But you need to go in and discover these things so that you can acknowledge them and release them. You can do that through investigating the Akashic record of yourself and start uncovering these things. Eat healthier foods. That's a huge thing. You don't eat sugar. You don't drink a lot of sugar. No alcohol. Alcohol is not good for you. Get off fried foods, processed foods, fast foods. Try and get away from some of the barnyard meat. Fish is good. I eat a little chicken. I still think that's kind of a no-no, but it's not as low frequency as beef or pork. So get away from those things as much as you can. They just put your vibrational frequency lower. Get away from them and your vibrational frequency will raise higher. More veggies is a great way to go. Drink a lot of really clean filtered water, things like that. Be serious about it. Get away from smoking, obviously, and those kind of things. There's other things, but this is a good list, right? Learn meditation and prayer. If you don't meditate and do a little prayer, then you should. It doesn't take much time to learn how to do a short meditation that you can do daily, 5 to 10 minutes worth to start. It'll seem like a long 10 minutes to start. Once you get into it, you'll enjoy it, and you'll focus on letting go of all the noisiness in your mind that just a typical day of ours comes with, and putting that aside and realizing that you are separate from all that. You are just an observer of all that activity and all that frustration, anxiety, pressure, and just nonstop activity. Put it aside. Learn how to put it aside and just observe it from the outside looking in. And then think about higher consciousness things, like learning how to exchange thoughts with your spirit guide or your guide team. We all have them, and they'll communicate with you. And this is the way you do it. You go within to communicate with them, and you'll enjoy it, and it will bring relaxation. You set your intent for the day, and it helps you in your day. You set your gratifications. What are you grateful for? It's a great way to start the day, 5 to 10 minutes. And prayer falls in that same category. Prayers and meditations. There's freelance meditation, and there's structured meditation, which I guess you would really refer to as a prayer. Learn about the 7 sacred flames. That's what my friend did. The 7 sacred flames are different colors, and they have to do with alignment to our 7 chakras. And it goes much deeper than that. I don't have time in this video to go into it, but it's a fascinating study. And once you understand the 7 sacred flames, they align to the 7 days of the week, and you can incorporate one of the sacred flames. They all have separate colors that align to our chakras. They align, and you can incorporate the sacred flame of the day into your short meditation. Cut out contemporary music and movies and the kind of things we see on TV, the TV shows and everything. They're scripted. They're designed to subconsciously program us with certain thoughts. And the net is they lower our vibrational frequency. You got to watch a comedy and laugh a lot. Laugh is a high vibrational frequency activity or emotion, depending on how you look at it. So go that route. I know that's a hard one, but it's what she did. I'm not saying you have to do it. This is a real list from someone I know that moved her vibrational frequency up a lot. Avoid judgmental thoughts. We judge everything without even thinking about it. So start thinking about it. Talk about it to yourself in your meditation. Ask your guides and your spirit guide to help you to be aware of judgments when you're making them, so you can learn to stop them. It works. You have service to others. The whole world is going through a massive transformation right now, from a world predominantly rooted in service to self. Me. What can I get? How much can I make? What kind of a cool car can I drive? It's a me world. And personally, I think that has to do with the world being very heavily a patriarchy. And the patriarchy structure is changing along with this to more of an evenly balanced patriarchy world. That has to do with balancing your divine masculine with your divine feminine. Right? There's a balance that everyone needs to strike, and it's all personal. So that's be of service to others, right? It's one of the key things that we all need to work on. And supposedly you can't ascend until you're, what I've read is that you can't really ascend until you reach a level of at least 51% of your time spent in service to others. So a good example of that are these videos I'm making. I'm doing these videos because I enjoy it, and I believe I'm bringing value to others. This is information that's important and valuable in anybody who's taking their spiritual awakening seriously and honestly trying to ascend. Learn to meditate when you're irritated or frazzled. Learn how to just stop, and instead of firing off 4-letter words or yelling at somebody, go within, meditate. Tell yourself that you're just the observer. Put all that, whatever's frustrating you, into a box. I look at a flame, a candle when I'm doing this, and I say, all this noise, frustration, any of that stuff goes into that flame, and that's where it resides. I am everywhere else, and just the observer. It makes me feel better. It eliminates that frustration. There's other things you can do. You can look all these little meditations up online too. I just happen to use that, and it works for me quite nicely. Change some things about your lifestyle in terms of toiletries. Deodorant has toxins in it. Aluminum is one of them. Not all deodorants have aluminum, but there's other toxins in the deodorants and things. For us guys that shave, that little sort of men, we can change, our shaving cream. We can change this kind of soap we use, shampoo. Everybody can do this as well. That's some ideas. You can get some organic stuff out there that's actually really healthy and provides needed nutrients to you. So not only are you avoiding some of the things that are toxic, but as you apply these things, it soaks into your system and actually provides nutrients that are healthy. So they're out there. You just got to take the time to go find them, look them up. The last thing that was on my friend's list was, I'm not sure if she said it this way, but it's how I wrote it down, was be nice to the little creatures. Go out of your way to maybe not step on that bug or kill that spider. Just maybe save them, maybe get them in a tissue and get them outside and let them go about their way. Strangely enough, whenever I go through the trouble of doing that, even like catching a fly with a cup, and then picking it out the back door, when I go through doing that, and I actually, instead of, killing a bug, which is easy to do, I feel really good about it. That's raising my vibrational frequency, and it's good for the bug. Anyway, that's it for that. I wanted to next go to a chart that you can find online. The reason I put this up here, map of consciousness, is what you would look up. But David Hawkins created this, this chart for our use. Now, as I said before, we need to be at 200 or above. So your goal is to get away from things that are under that. And I want you to see from this, just the ones I jotted down here, that when you get below 200, you can definitely see a difference in the level and emotion of the things, pride and anger versus scorn and hate. And it immediately changes at 200 to more higher vibrational and more of the types of things that make us feel better, right? So it'd be courage, and affirmations would be the emotion. Courage is the level, and affirmation would be the emotion. Next up is neutrality, trust, and we go to willingness and optimism, acceptance. The emotion is forgiveness, reason, to have reason. The emotion is understanding. Level of love is reverence. Joy is serenity. Peace is bliss. You have enlightenment. You are ineffable. So that just gives you an idea of how this chart has been structured. And you can go online and you can print this thing out and stick it on your refrigerator or on your mirror in the bathroom or whatever you want to do to remind yourself of these different things. And you'll also, there's quite a few below the slide, but you can see them, and you can recognize these things that you're subject to and fall into the trap of these emotions that you just aren't helping your vibrational frequency. Once you have awareness, you will think about them more. You can ask your higher consciousness for help when you're meditating on recognizing these things when they happen. You can talk to your spirit guides or your guide team and ask them to send you a message. Now, remember, they'll communicate with you in meditation, but they'll also communicate in terms of numbers, 333, 777, 1212, 1221, all these different things. If you ask them, they might communicate with you regarding some of these vibrational frequencies that might be low, that they want you to notice that you're slipping into. We all have them. It's a normal part of our lives. That's what this transformation that we're going through is all about. All right. Well, that's it for this video. I hope it's given you some things to think about. Please like and subscribe. Make comments as to the types of topics and content you'd like me to provide, and we can go from there. Thanks again. I really enjoy making these videos for you, and I hope we can learn a lot together. Be well. Namaste.